Hey Pokedad Fan Club, it's me Pokedad, and today I'm doing a deck profile. I'm doing Ultra Necrozma Malamar, but I'm doing it in post-rotation. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, we still have Worlds format, Celestial Storm hasn't been released yet, and for a brief period of time we're going to have breakthrough through Celestial Storm, but really, that's just going to affect the people that are going to Worlds, and maybe there might be a couple cups at the end of August that might fall in that format. But for the most part, most people are already looking toward post-rotation. So today I'm doing an Ultra Necrozma Malamar deck profile that will be post-rotation. Now I do have really just one proxy in here because most everything in this deck we have either already had a copy of or doesn't really change too much. But let's get right into the deck profile. So the first thing is we're going to start off with our Malamars, and we're playing a 4-3 line of Malamar. Malamar is just a really good card. Had 2 top 8s at Nats, and I think it was mostly the Psychic versions, but Malamar has the Psychic Recharge ability that allows you to get an energy from the discard pile, Psychic energy from the discard pile, and attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. Very similar to Bronzong back in Phantom Force days, and then before that Ray Ills. So just a very good card. I'm playing a 4-3 line here. As far as our attackers go, we've got 2 Ultra Necrozmas. This card is just really good. For a Metal and a Psychic, it can do 20 damage, and then you discard for every Psychic you discard does an additional 80. So if you have 1 on there, 1 Psychic on there, you're doing 100 damage. If you have 2, you're doing 180. At a Choice Band, you're doing 210 damage. You discard the 2 Psychics, and then you just recharge them back onto something else. If you have 3, you're knocking out pretty much everything in the format. You do 260. So you're really just, if you can get a Metal and 3 Psychics, you're just knocking out everything. The Ultra Necrozma's partner in crime is Dawnwings. Dawnwings Necrozma has a lot of synergy in this deck. First of all, with Invasion, being able to Invasion in and retreat, so it allows you to Psychic Recharge back to the Ultra Necrozmas again and just keep repeating. And now Floatstone has rotated, so we're going to be using Alter the Moon, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But Alter the Moon is going to be our way of getting in and out with Invasion, and allowing Ultra Necrozma to sometimes win games by turn 4 or 5, just by Invasion and then retreating back in. Furthermore, Dawnwings can be a great attacker against Psychic weak Pokemon. D-Spots will probably see a little bit of Rise in play, and that means Naganadel will see play, and so Dawnwings can one-shot Naganadel. Also, Buzzwole will probably still see play, though in my early testing and post-rotation, it has shown that Buzzwole is losing a lot because of strong energy, and so it may not be as powerful as it once was. Might end up going down to like a tier 2 deck, maybe even lower. Cards that you do need to look out for are Ray GX, Rayquaza GX. It's going to be really strong. But I think Malamar has the power to go toe-to-toe with Rayquaza, and if you can take out 3 of their energies pretty quickly, then they're gonna be behind the 8 ball. So Dawnwings can help us, and also Dawnwings attack. If we do fall behind, we have a catch-up mechanic with the Moon's Eclipse GX attack. Does 180 damage, and then our opponent can't hurt us next turn. So really, these 2 really work together really well to kind of take on most of the format. We're playing one Oranguru. With Parallel City leaving the format, we're not going to have to be as bench conscious playing Malamar, and so with we actually will have room to play Oranguru. Oranguru also doubles as a good attacker because I think Hoopa will still see some play. Hoopa can potentially shut this deck down, and if I was going into a meta, I would probably play a couple other attackers that are single prize attackers. But for our tech slot, we're actually playing one Marshadow, and I actually believe that this card probably will change. The reason why I had it in there is because I felt like we still had to be concerned about Zoroark. But from my early testing, Rayquaza GX is destroying Zoroark, and this deck is destroying Zoroark, and it's just a win more. Marshadow is becoming a win more card. Now it does give us a little more flexibility because depending on what's in the discard pile, we can do different attacks. But I do see that this is probably our tech slot, and if you were going into a meta like a local cup, and you were going to see, let's say Hoopa for instance, this could easily become a Shining Lugia, or this could become a Pressure Mewtwo, or the new Deoxys that's going to be coming out in the set. So this is a tech slot. I just want you to know that. For right now, though, I was playing against Zoroark variants, and I'm finding that even without Marshadow, this deck is winning more often than not against Zoroark. So anyway, Marshadow is our tech slot, and then we're playing two Lele's. Lele's just a good card, and if we get stalled out, can help us keep moving forward. So that is our Pokemon line. We only have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I think. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm sorry, 15 Pokemon. That rounds out our Pokemon. You could add more or less attackers. Well, probably not less, but more attackers, depending on your local meta, and also depending on what you need for that potential meta. So let's talk about supporters. Supporters change a lot. We lose Professor Sycamore and we lose N, so that obviously makes Cynthia the new top dog for draw support, and we'll be playing 4 Cynthias. Shuffle your hand and draw 6 is about the best we've got right now with N and Sycamore rotating. I know that a deck like this really prefers something like Sycamore, so you can get the energy in the discard pile. But so far in testing, I haven't had a lot of troubles with that. And we'll talk about some of the item cards that help us get that. We'll play 2 Lily. Bridget also rotated, and so I find that Lily is just a really good early game card, and now it's becoming a good mid game card and a good late game card. So, matter of fact, I could even see this potentially going up to a 3rd Lily, just because there isn't really any other good draw support out there. I've tried Sophocles, and I thought, well, that would help me get the energy in the discard pile. But the problem is I usually have either a better draw supporter that I want to use rather than play Sophocles, or B, I don't have any energy in my hand and I have to discard 2 valuable things, which really makes it hard. And with already having Ultra Ball and Mysterious Treasure, I don't really feel like we have too much worries about having to discard, get energy in the discard pile. We're playing 2 Judge. I think that's going to be the new Disruption card, since N is rotating. However, I'm not convinced that Judge is needed in this deck. It's very possible that a different draw supporter could be used. There's the new one. I always forget the name of it. It's 2 supporters, kind of basically. It's like a Shauna and a Switch put together, but you can only choose one or the other. So it's like you can shuffle, draw 5, or you can use this to switch your Pokemon. It might be better than Judge, because then you're shuffling and drawing 5. But maybe there's something else that I've overlooked that would be better than Judge. Maybe even Lily. Like I said, Sophocles I wasn't too impressed with. So anyway, that's an alternative. And then we play in 1 Copycat, and we could potentially bump this up. Now, I think a lot of people are hyping this card a little more than it really should be. I think they're thinking, well, when a Zoroark deck goes off and goes trade, and has this humongous hand of 15 cards, then Copycat just comes in and it does a wonderful job. And in that scenario, I agree, that would be great. For those of you that may be new, Copycat says shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw the same amount of cards as your opponent has. So it's good, and it's worth keeping at least 1 copy in. And another scenario where it might be good is right after Rayquaza GX uses its GX attack, which says discard your hand and draw 10 cards. Copycat could be good, because then you could just copy that 10 card and you'll have a 10 card hand. And in fact, you'll get to use your 10 card hand before your opponent will get to use theirs. So that's another situation where it can be good. But many times your opponent, even if it gets going against Zoroark, so they are not as likely to get their Zoroarks online as quickly as they used to. And so they may have hands of just 4 or 5 cards. Now, that's not to say copycatting for 5 cards is a bad thing, but in essence, it's really just a Shauna. And so I think it's better to have more certain cards like Lily and obviously Cynthia than it is to have a Copycat. So I'm playing the 1, and there are scenarios where I lay for Copycat and I can get a massive hand of 10 or 12 cards. But for the most part, it's usually Cynthia doing most of the work. It is possible that the judges can be removed, and maybe one judge would become a Copycat and the other one would become a Lily. But, and I'm still testing that, and feel free to give me your comments for any testing you do on this. I'd love to know what your supporter count is also. But right now, this is what I'm running with, and I've had a lot of success with it so far. And then finally, we're rounding out with 3 Guzmas. I wish I was playing 4, and there's probably room to have a 4th if we needed it. But getting set up in the early turns is so important that I'm just fine with 3 Guzmas. Most of the time, we're shuffle drawing back in anyway, so if we have it in our hand, we're going to keep it in the deck. Whereas with Sycamore, it was more practical to play 4 Guzmas because you might Sycamore 2 of them away and you still need access to a couple at the end of the game. Whereas since we're playing more shuffle draw and we're not discarding as much, I think 3 Guzmas is fine. Alright, so we'll now move on to item cards next. We'll play quite a few item cards. The first one is going to be For Mysterious Treasure. That probably is pretty obvious. It gets our dragons and our psychics. The only thing it can't get is the Marshadow or the Oranguru, but everything else in our deck it can get. And for the things that it can't get, we play 3 Ultra Balls. Now, I tested it originally with 4, and I think 4 is good, so if you want to play 4, that's fine. But I've also been testing a few other things, and in this particular list, I've dropped down to 3 Ultra Balls because I want to play a couple other things, and then one of those things that I want to play is Acrobike. So we're playing 3 Acrobikes. This is kind of, I know I'm only playing 9 draw supporters, and in the format coming up, a lot of people are saying, well, you need to be probably playing 10 or more because it's more shuffle draw and you want to make sure that you chain into another draw supporter every turn. But between Oranguru helping me out, instructing, and Acrobike, I don't feel like I really need much more draw supporters. So I've played 3 Acrobikes. Now, sometimes the discards can be painful from this, but sometimes you just get another psychic energy right when you need it, and it becomes a really, really, really beautiful thing for you. So Acrobike, I like it, and usually if it is a tough discard, it's something that we can get back into the deck later if we need it. Otherwise, it might be a supporter, and we could play Pal Pad if we found that the discards were too bad, but I haven't had any troubles with it, and it's really helped me get very good explosive turn 1s and turn 2s. The next card we're playing is 3 of B-String. When that window of opportunity comes, we want to make sure we have access to B-String, because it can be a swing turn for us, especially if we fall behind. B-String can charge up an Ultra Necrozma, and especially when not having any float stones, sometimes we're forced to promote the Ultra Necrozma, and he doesn't have enough to take a knockout, but you have the B-String in hand, and then you can just charge it up, take the knockout, and continue going, moving forward. And then that also allows you to psychic recharge to other things on your bench, like another Ultra Necrozma. So 3 B-Strings is what I'm playing right now. I had it at 2, but I moved it to 3 because I wanted to make sure I hit it when I had the window of opportunity to play it. We're playing 2 choice bands. I really like choice band in Ultra Necrozma, not so much in Psychic Necrozma. And the reason is because with just 2 psychic recharges and a metal attachment and a choice band, you can hit 210 damage, which is a really magic number in the format right now. Regular Necrozma, Psychic Necrozma, can hit 190 with 3 psychic energies, but Ultra Necrozma can only hit 180 with a metal and 2 psychics. So to kind of make up that distance, to make sure that we're hitting the 190 to 210 range, we play a couple choice bands, and that allows us to hit the numbers that we need. Now certainly we could potentially psychic recharge 3 psychic energies and do a ton of damage, knocking out just about anything, but sometimes that scenario doesn't play true for us, and so I like to have choice band to make sure we can hit the numbers. Playing 1 rescue stretcher. You know, if an Ultra Necrozma, it has to be discarded off of an Acrobite, or we have to get rid of Malamars early in the game, or they target down on Malamars and we need to get them back. Rescue Stretcher allows us to get those back. And then we're playing the new, it's not a new card, but it's going to be new to this set, Energy Recycle System. Now I've got this as a proxy, as right now as a Super Rod, but it's basically just like Rescue Stretcher, but for energy cards. Now a lot of people have said that this card is really bad, and I want to say I disagree totally with it. This card is, the flexibility of this card is what makes this card so good. Energy Recycle System allows you to put 3 energies back into your deck, like a Super Rod would, or pull 1 energy out of your discard pile and put it into your hand. So for Ultra Necrozma, this is beautiful, because if I had to go through my metal energies too quickly, then I can use this to grab a metal energy out of the discard pile, attach it to the Ultra Necrozma, and then psychic recharge, and I'm ready to start attacking. If I have all my metals ready, but I have a bunch of psychic energy in the discard pile, more than I need to do a psychic recharge, then I can use this card, put 3 of the psychics back in the deck, and be ready for B-String. And so it just synergizes really well with Ultra Necrozma, needing the metal energy, and with having the energy in the deck for when the B-String turn comes. Now some people would say, well, Energy Recycler can do that. Yes, Energy Recycler can get the energy back into my deck, or Energy Retrieval can grab energies out of your discard pile and put them in your hand. Yes, but those are 2 different cards. This is one card that functions both of those, as both of those. Now I don't get as much, but I get exactly what I need, which is either the 1 metal at the right time. Sometimes it's the 1 psychic, because sometimes you can do 2 energy psychic recharge and then get another psychic and attach it, win the game that way. So I'm convinced that Energy Recycle System is going to be one of the best cards in the set. Now, is it going to see a 4-of index? Probably not. But will it see play? Yes, it will definitely see play Maybe not as much as Super Rod, but in decks like this, it will definitely see play, and I'm a big advocate for it. We're playing one Escape Rope. Again, we have the 3 Guzmas to get us out of the active, but sometimes we need an item-based way to get out of the active, and with Floatstone gone, Escape Rope is that answer. You could even argue putting a switch in here, but I'm just playing the one Escape Rope because we'll get to the stadiums in a moment. But since we're playing Altar of the Moon, that also helps act as our Floatstone. And then the final item is our Field Blower. I'm not sure that Field Blower is even needed in this deck or how important it will be. Garvoter and Parallel City used to be the bane of this deck. This might be just a better as a 3rd Altar of the Moon. But I wanted to keep one in just to see how it tested and see if I even needed it. It does see play to get rid of stadiums, but most stadiums, I guess the one stadium that might be important to get rid of is the one that does 10 damage to every psychic. Every EX and GX in between turns. So we might want to we might need it for that. But in that case, it might just be better to run a 3rd altar anyway, and go from there. So I'm not sure about Field Blower. I think this might be a card that could be cut and put in for something else. And then I'll go ahead and put the 2 altars down. I'm playing 2. We could potentially put a 3rd Altar of the Moon. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this card is really great because we can put an energy on first of all, you can put it on Dawn Wings and then Invasion, and then use Altar of the Moon to retreat back into an Ultra Necrozma. However, if you have Beast Energy on an Ultra Necrozma, you can Psychic Recharge to another Ultra Necrozma and then retreat that Ultra Necrozma into the other one, and then you can just kind of loop them back and forth. Or you can use that to retreat for free also. So I really like Altar of the Moon. Now I know before rotation, Altar of the Moon was a bad card. I think the vast majority of us would agree that Floatstone was 100 times better. But with Floatstone rotating, I really do think Altar of the Moon will be a great card and a great inclusion into this deck. And in testing so far, it's done really well. Again, I might bump this to a 3rd card. I don't know where we'd find space, but we could if we felt like it was absolutely necessary. So anyway, that is the item for this deck profile. Finally, we just got our energy. Playing 1 Beast Energy, 3 metals, and we are playing 8 Psychic Energies. So that is the deck profile. Tell me what you think of this deck. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. And give us a comment below. Tell me what you think of Malamar in the upcoming format in post-rotation format. Anyway, guys, this is Pokedad. I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. I'll have many more for you coming up. We'll talk to you later. Bye.